working on the flex. And if you've noticed and heard me talk about it, ever since I've had this, I've had problems out of the air conditioning. And so now, again, I have gauges hooked up. And we're going to do some gauge diagnosis. Right now, the low side is a little high. We're looking at right around 50 psi, and we're looking at about 210 on the high side. Inside, we were looking at duct temperature at about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this is high fan. Oh yeah, it is 86 degrees outside and normal AC. So we're going to go ahead and step it down a little bit, and we're going to go in recirc mode and see if we can make this drop a little more. It's probably not going to fall much. It's starting to go down some. Okay, so now let's go and do some other inspections. Okay, now I'm going to check the cooling fans, which they both run. I put my hand down. I feel airflow coming out of this one, and I feel airflow coming out of that one, which tells me the cooling fans are working normal. Alright, now I'm going to do an inspection on the lines. This is the low side. It is not very cold. There is no moisture on it. And the high side here, it's hot, but you know, it's not so hot. Of course, now this is after the receiver dryer and before the expansion valve. And it should be hotter than that, but it's not. And of course, the compressor is running as designed. Now, I've come back in and it's running in recirc mode. And I've stepped the fan down a notch. This is how I check every AC system with medium fan and recirc with the windows down. And it is blowing out at 50 degrees, which is about 10 degrees warmer than it should be. Okay, after it's run for a few minutes, the low side, it's actually stepped down 5 psi, and the high side has not really actually changed all that much at all. Well, with this, the diagnosis, and I also remember when I took an ASC test, there was a question on there, something about Technician A states that high-low side pressure and low side pressure would indicate a faulty compressor. Technician B says that high-low side pressure and normal high side pressure would indicate a low refrigerant charge or something like that. And I selected Technician A. And the question was right. And I got it right. So I'm going to make the diagnosis that the compressor on this is shot. I remember the question now. Technician A says high low side pressure and low high side pressure will indicate a faulty compressor. Technician B says high low side pressure and low high side pressure indicate a low charge. Which is correct? A or B? And I picked A, and I got the question right. And this one is just borderline bad, because it is not, because, well, I'm going to say that it's borderline because it is running on max, which is allowed for a lower amount of temperature and lower pressure on the low side, but still it should be lower than that even in max mode. So my diagnosis, the compressor is faulty. And I've already priced. We're looking at least in the minimum for a new compressor, $600. And on top of that, it's probably going to have a new expansion valve and a new receiver dryer. So you're going to be looking at $8,000 to $1,000 just to fix the AC. And now the question, am I going to fix it? No, I'm not going to be fixing it. Mainly because I already have 2 other vehicles that run, and I'm already paying, for the payments I'm making on this. I really can't afford to fix it right now, and I'm just not going to bother with it. I don't even know right at this point if I'm even going to keep it with that diagnosis I made. It's been running for 20 minutes, in restart mode, and it's down to about 46 degrees, and that's after it's ran for 20 minutes. And with the ambient air temperature at 87 degrees, back when it was in the upper 90s, it wasn't even doing this good. And I'd actually just given up and just turned the system off and drove with the windows down. Okay, so there we have it. Diagnosis made on the AC compressor. AC system deflects. Like I said, I've had problems with it ever since I've had it. It's been worked on twice, and I made a few diagnoses on it. And, I actually considered adding a little bit of refrigerant to it, but I did not want to get it overcharged. You get one of these overcharged and they won't even cool at all. And this one does cool some anyway, at least. All right. Thanks for watching.